never gonna see it again. We are exploding, the world is gonna know it. We'll rock it like you're never gonna see us again. Come on over. Come on over.
Coming to you live from the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, this is Pure Gold with your host, David and Joe.
Good evening, everyone, and that is right. We are coming to you live once again from the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. This is Pure Gold. My name is Joe Bacino, along with my tag team partner and co-host, David Gomez. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fabulous. All things considered, folks, we apologize for starting late. There have been some technical difficulties, but for those of you who have been following the show for the year plus that we have been on the air, that is our middle name.
That is our middle name. That is correct. Sir, before we get the rundown underway, let's give out the contact information.
The call-in number, if you'd like to be part of this extremely abbreviated show, 714-364-4721. Check us out, puregoldpg.com, where you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all that other goodness. Once again, puregoldpg.com. JB?
Thank you, DG. Tonight on the program, hopefully we will be having the host from SCORE, Renee Paquette, as well as a little glitz, a little glamour. We'll have glitz and glamour on the show, previewing their match this weekend. Sir, before we get underway, we want to introduce our newest member of the Pure Gold family, our producer, Mr. Alex.
Yes, folks, we are proud and privileged to be joined by the one and only Alex, our infamous producer. Alex, how you doing?
How's it going?
Just graduated from CSB.
Yes, that's why we're in here. Alex pulled some strings. He paid off a lot of important people, and that's why we are here using the studios. Alex, is there anything you'd like to say to the studio audience?
Hey, what's up, people?
Not a man of many words, as you can see. JB, let us rock and roll.
All right, sir, as we wait for our two guests to call in at any time tonight, again, it's an abbreviated show. We apologize. Anytime. We might as well just get into the baseball season. I mean, it's 6 games in. The New York Mets have started off red hot. They started out 3-0 and then finished off the homestand 4-2. Unfortunately, the 2 losses came at the end of the homestand, and it kind of leaves a bitter taste. But I guess all in all, sir, all things given, a 4-2 start is what the Mets really needed to get off to.
You're right. That's exactly what I agree, but we're going to have to throw that out the window right now because we have our guest calling in, one of our guests. Folks, we're proud and privileged to be joined by Renee Paquette, host on the Score up in Canada, our wonderful neighbors to the north. Renee, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, and I know that the audiences know about this, but I do apologize for all of the back and forth that you and I have been doing, simply because things sometimes are out of control. But we thank you so much for being patient and calling in. We definitely appreciate you giving us a few minutes.
Oh, God, no problem at all. Things happen. No big deal. We all recover.
This is true. Now, Renee, I've been following you on Twitter. Some interesting stuff there. You are a huge wrestling fan, seeing some of your work on the Score website. Now, tell us a bit. I know WrestleMania was last Sunday, but since we're talking about everything here wrestling related, what was it like to go to Miami, and what was that whole experience like?
It was amazing. I mean, being down in Miami and having it be Rock's hometown and Rock versus Cena, Triple H and Undertaker, always anything with Undertaker's amazing. But it was mostly the crowd down there. I mean, I know you guys could see it from the pay-per-view and everything anyways, but
Definitely.
Just being able to see the crowd down there, everyone was going absolutely bonkers, especially during Daniel Bryan's match afterwards, everyone chanting for Daniel Bryan,
yes.
Having Triple H and Undertaker, everyone just they were just banding together. And the fact that I had to miss Monday Night Raw from Miami absolutely destroys me, because it looked like Raw actually had even better crowd than WrestleMania did, if that's even possible.
Renee, what was your favorite match of the night, and what was your least favorite match of the night?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to be obvious here, but Triple H and Undertaker was so good. I mean, for them to follow that up, I'm sort of torn between Triple H and Undertaker and Jericho and Punk. Because for those guys have to go in and have to follow after Undertaker was amazing. But just to see Triple H, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels walk out of the ring together and just the performance that those guys put on, they absolutely killed it, especially coming up from WrestleMania from last year, which to me didn't really do too much. It was fine, but
I agree.
For what was set in stone for this WrestleMania, they certainly set the bar pretty high.
Now, Renee, we talked about it last week, DG and I, on Pure Gold, and we said that this is probably, it should be, in our opinion, the last match for Undertaker and possibly Triple H. Do you agree with that, or you think that Undertaker should try to go 30-0?
40-0.
Well,
50-0?
oh God, I don't think he can do 30-0. I don't know. I mean, I think just the way, like I said before, of how they wrapped it up. I was actually talking to somebody at work about this today, but the way that they walked out of the ring together, it would be nice if they could go out on that note. I mean, it seemed like everyone was banding together, having Shawn Michaels there in the corner, just like literally almost in tears while trying to ref that match. They all walk out together holding each other up. If they could go out on that note, I think it would be amazing. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but I would like it to go that way.
Yeah, I agree. Joe and I, we're in the minority when it comes to wrestling fans. We're not huge fans of the streak. I've always thought the idea of anybody being undefeated at WrestleMania is ridiculous, considering Hulk Hogan, et cetera, have lost so many matches. But it is what The Undertaker's famous for. But to us, he looked like he was on his last legs, and I just can't imagine him doing too many more matches.
That's what I mean. It's like, how much more is he really going to have in him? And if you can go out on a 20, great. If you're even making it to a 25, I mean, would I have liked to seen him go, if WrestleMania had been at MSG, ending it there, that would be nice. But knowing that it's going to be in New York, New Jersey next year, I think that it would be safe to just kind of wrap it up here. I do agree with you in the sense, if someone were to end the streak, I would lose my mind. Because I think that would just be, it would be a great story. It would be a great talking point. But end of the day, the streak is the streak. It's 20-0, and I don't think that the WWE can take that away from Undertaker.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard that he wants to take it away, but, we can't. I guess considering that we are doing an abbreviated show, unfortunately, we can't spend too much time on The Undertaker. I just think it was a nice send-off. It was a nice way to end it. That would be a great way for him to end his career. I know they make a big deal about it, but the Taker has always seemed to be a low-key guy. But speaking of something that wasn't low-key, the crowd in Miami was pretty hot for it. Rock and Cena, give us your thoughts on that and what that was like live.
You know what? It was having Rock and Cena there. I think it was, first of all, it was a little bit weird to have Flo Rida performing up on the ramp while John Cena had to stand there in the ring. But I think the performance between the two of those guys was amazing, and I don't think anyone thought it would be anything less than that between those two guys, because they are the best at what they do. But I mean, Rock had to win, and I literally think if John Cena won that match, the place would have exploded. It would have imploded upon itself, and it would have been bad news. People were literally getting ready to riot if John Cena won. I mean, having his wife there at ringside and, I just bringing all of his family members nearby, it's hard to see him lose, and then to go in to Monday Night Raw the next night and having Brock Lesnar pop in, dropping the F5 on him. It's tough to see that, and I think that I'm rallying behind John Cena now for the first time in pretty much ever. So I think that it's a good thing, but I do think that Rock had to win in Miami. But the match was so great.
You're one of the few people that I've heard wrestling-wise, the people who are in the know to think that Rock had to win. I can tell you this much. If Cena had won, we wouldn't be having this conversation with you, because you and everybody else at that arena would probably have, would have exploded. There would have been all types of horrible things happening. But
of course. No, absolutely.
You touched on this match earlier, and I know we're going to get back to John Cena in a minute, but Jericho and Punk, give us your thoughts on that. Was the crowd as into it as we were at home? Because that ending sequence was amazing.
I don't know that the crowd was into it, because, if true wrestling fans love anybody, it's CM Punk and Chris Jericho, because they literally are the best in the world at what they do. So to see those two guys, and for me, it's trying to decide which one of them I want to win and who I actually believe is the best in the world as being a wrestler. So seeing those guys go back and forth, and as far as technically for the match, it was amazing. And for them to have to follow up Triple H and Undertaker, that's tough to follow. Definitely. But I think especially by the end, they had everybody literally eating out of the palm of their hand, wondering what was going to happen. And it's actually one of those storylines that I'm very happy has bled over from WrestleMania.
I think Vince...
I'm glad that it's not over.
Right, Renee. I think Vince sometimes wants to fool the smart fans, because I thought the only thing that, the logic made sense for me was to have Chris Jericho win the title at WrestleMania and have Punk chase it, especially at the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, since Punk, is from, ECW and
Chicago and all that.
And Chicago and all that stuff. So, you think that they did it the right way? You think that Punk should have won the match, or you think Jericho should have won the title at WrestleMania?
To be honest, I don't know that I think that it matters that much. I think if the title's on either one of those guys, I think that it remains being important, and you're still going to want to see those two guys battle for that title. So either way, I think it's going to be a back and forth between those two guys for the next little while.
I guess the issue is, with us as fans, the way we look at it is when, the WWE has always made a habit, other than, I guess you could say, last year, Money in the Bank, being at Chicago, where Punk is from, and he won the title. Typically, they like to embarrass their talent for whatever reason in their hometown. So that's,
we've seen that with Natalya here. It's not great. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, and they do it with Jim Ross all the time. But, I would have loved to have seen Jericho win the title and then have Punk win it back the next month, in Chicago. So now I'm wondering if Jericho will win it. Because if Punk retains the title, the Jericho feud's kind of got to be over. I don't know where he goes from there, whether it's Lord Tensai or whatever the case is, but I would love to see this.
Oh, God.
I think you're not a fan?
I just think I fully understand what you mean with that as to where he will go from that. And I think that there's a couple different guys that are sort of in that same holding pattern that I'm waiting for them to get out of that after WrestleMania. And Dolph Ziggler's another one of those guys who you want to see be successful. And same with Cody Rhodes. The fact that he doesn't have the title bothers me. And the fact that the Intercontinental Champion is Big Show, I think that sucks. But I think that those are guys that can still be in the chase and can still have titles. And as long as they're in the hunt for getting those titles, that they're in a good position. But, looking at Dolph Ziggler, somebody who's not necessarily chasing a title at the exact moment, but hopefully that's in his future. And I think coming out of WrestleMania to get some of those things back on track.
Right. Now, Renee, the big marquee matchup was John Cena versus Rock. Rock won the match, came out the next night, thanked all his fans, and probably went off into the sunset. And then we thought that John Cena would shake the Rock's hands, and who comes out? Lo and behold, it's Brock Lesnar. Comes out.
War Machine.
Doesn't even really say a word on the mic and just delivers a stiff F5, which was so awesome.
It was great.
Do you like that John Cena's already booked into a feud with Brock Lesnar right after WrestleMania?
I do like that because, I think especially with Rock, he's somebody that, him coming out and even saying, I want to be the WWE champ, I want to do this, I want to do that. We know that he's going to be back and he's going to be doing stuff, but as far as how involved he's going to be, I don't know. And I think to bring Brock Lesnar in, which is, the rumors of him coming back to the WWE have been circulating for a little while. So for him to actually come back and have somebody be a contender against John Cena, and just to I'm the first one to say that I would love to see John Cena make that little bit of a turn and have everybody go against him. And I think that it looks like that it could head that way. And for somebody to do that, to have Brock Lesnar be that guy to make him the underdog is great. And, especially having Brock Lesnar being able to bring in more MMA fans and to come back, I think that there's probably some dues that are going to have to be paid to Brock Lesnar still being billed as the UFC champ or whatever they were saying on Raw. But I think having Brock Lesnar come back into the WWE is going to be a really, really great thing. And to have him and John Cena paired up right out of WrestleMania, I think it's a good way to redirect that focus.
Right. Now, Renee, we really want to apologize once again for the time constraint. We know that we wanted you on a little bit longer tonight, and we want to have you on again so we can just talk about more wrestling. But I also found out before you came on to the show that you're preparing for the hockey playoffs. So my question...
I am, yes.
My question to you is, what is your prediction for the Stanley Cup Finals? Since we can't really break down the playoffs tonight, but the playoffs actually start. What's your prediction? I'm going to go with Pittsburgh versus Vancouver.
Oh, well, see, where are you guys broadcasting out of?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay. So I can make fun of Vancouver, and it's okay. I thought it was Canadian.
No.
No, I really don't want to see Vancouver go into the final again this year. I would actually like to see the Kings knock them out in the first round. I know that that's being a little bit ambitious with the Kings, but I think with Jonathan Quick and net that it could maybe happen. Daniel Sedin is out, obviously, right now for tonight's game. We don't know when he's going to come back. But my finals prediction is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues.
Nice.
Well, I'm glad that we somewhat agree. You're the expert, and I'm just making a prediction.
I'm just making stuff up, too. I don't know.
All right.
Listen, Renee, we thank you so much for joining us. And like Joe said, we absolutely want to have you on again in the near future so we can break down some more wrestling and possibly talk a little more hockey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Thank you so much, Renee. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Take care. Folks, that was the one and only Renee Paquette from The Score in Canada. And before we move on to our next guest.
Hi, this is Brittany Bell, Miss Arizona USA 2010. Make sure you tune in to Pure Gold each week to hear the best interviews and live talk radio. David and Joe are simply the best. Check them out at puregoldpg.com.
And we're back, folks, and absolutely, Brittany is correct. We are the best. And speaking of some of the best, let's move on to our next guest, a guy who pretty much is the third co-host of the show since Todd hasn't joined us in a while. We're here joined by Mr. Bright Lights, Jarrett Foster himself, and, of course, his tag team partner, Aaron Stride, and, of course, their manager, Josh Maddox. Gentlemen, we apologize for the time constraints. Jarrett, you know we've had you on for like 30 minutes and a pop. How are you guys doing?
Time is money. Let's get to it.
What's up, boys? How's everything?
Very good. Are these guys on? Maddox, Stride, you guys on?
Stride,
here,
man.
Can you hear me? I hear you.
Yeah, guys over here.
Let's get to the bigger question out there. How cute did that Renee chick sound?
Yeah, no
cute.
kidding, right?
Well,
Jesus.
I hate to break it to you guys, but she's from Canada, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
She sounded pretty cute.
I got a passport.
I mean, you can follow her on Twitter. She has quite the looker, I have to admit.
I hear she's not into glitz or glamour, though.
No?
No.
Oh, well, that's
What about manager? Well, way to ruin that freaking mood.
Maddox, what's going on this weekend?
Only you can do.
Maddox, what's going on this weekend? There's a big match going on, isn't there?
There's a huge match going on down at JAPW in Rahway, New Jersey, where you guys can see Glitz and Glamour going in action against the Midnight Sensations, these alien people that think they're, the greatest tag team out there, but they haven't met Glitz and Glamour in the ring yet. And this Saturday, Rahway, New Jersey, for Jersey All Pro Wrestling, they're going to meet Glitz and Glamour. And it's going to be a show like no one's ever seen before.
Let me ask you guys, Jarrett, I know last time you were on, which is about a month or so ago, you mentioned, you've been branching out, and I know following you on Twitter, you guys have been doing a lot of stuff. Is this, correct me if I'm wrong, is this your first match with Jersey All Pro, or have you guys been there before?
We've done work for the owner with Jersey Shore Championship Wrestling, but this is our first time working under Jersey All Pro.
Now, where do you guys fall on the card? I mean, are you guys opening up? Are you main eventing? Are you in the middle? That's what the Pure Gold fan. Where is Jarrett Foster in the lineup? That's what I want to know.
Jarrett right behind Aaron Stride. Where he's in the lineup.
Aaron Stride, give me a moment. I was going to bring you. Relax.
All right.
Josh Maddox, Aaron Stride, and Bright Lights are going to be, from what I'm told, but obviously card subject to change. We're going to be opening the show, and I think that might be the perfect fit for us. I think they're utilizing us pretty good there.
I'm going to
ask. And also don't forget that we also have Angelina from the Jersey Shore coming out with you guys because, nothing says glitz and glamour like a little bit of Jersey Shore.
Right.
Nice. Very nice.
Now, I'm going to ask the real question. I mean, DG wants to know. I'm going to ask you the just business question right here, folks.
Just crap.
Because Bright Lights has answered this question before, and now I'm going to really get into the good stuff right here.
Here we go.
A certain gentleman named Bright Lights is left off the card on April 28th.
Here we go.
For company IWF. Is Stride or Maddox on the card at all?
They are also in the not booked category.
Wow.
Correct. We are #not booked.
I'll put it to you this way, real quick. It seems to me that Bright Lights Jarrett Foster, God's Gift Aaron Stride, and Showtime Joshua Maddox's bios were, mysteriously taken down off the IWF website at the same exact time. So it's safe to say that whatever happens to one happens to all.
Now, let me ask you guys, and again, I know we got into a little bit of this with Jarrett, but I'd like to hear from you, Aaron. Any reason you think, honestly, any reason you think that is the case? Did you guys have a falling out with Kevin Knight? I mean, did somebody super kick him through a plate glass window? Did Brutus Beefcake cut his hair? That's what I'm curious about.
Personally, I could
speaking for, this is Aaron talking, and speaking for myself, I have no falling out with Kevin Knight, which is why all three of us were caught off guard. We assumed that he had some kind of loyalty to the people that he got to know throughout the years, that he would at least give us the courtesy to call us. Kevin Knight as a person is probably one of the nicest people you'll meet, but for some reason he lacks the loyalty and respect when it comes to the business. And I mean, if you look at the card for April 28th, there isn't going to be a seat in the house. That place is going to be packed. Well, I mean, people like Shane O'Brien are going to bring those people in.
I mean, I just say.
I mean,
I think
if you guys haven't noticed, that card is stacked. I mean, Mr. Casino.
Sarcasm. I think we could throw out there. Now, I find it curious. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Joe, but I just find it so odd because I know that from the times that I went to the IWF, it seemed like all the same guys seemed to be booked, and the only guy that I recognize for the most part in that whole thing is what's his name, Travis Blake. So you see Kevin, stuff like that. But even other guys like Dante Arcade, I didn't see him on the card. So I just found it to be so odd. Yeah, Marty Jannetty's going to be there, and I forget who else. What's the other dude? Jim Powers. But I don't know. I'm just it just strikes me so odd. Well, yeah, it just strikes me as such an odd thing because I mean, when I talked to Kevin off the air, he always seemed like he's getting things going and stuff. But that's why we were curious about it.
Can I answer?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You can take that one.
I just want to say I think that the obvious thing here. Now, this is something I've talked to you guys about many times, but the way it comes down and the way it's broken down is, and I think everybody has a general consensus here on Kevin Knight, and Stride said it somewhat right, but I'm going to correct him. Kevin Serio is a nice guy, nicest guy you'll ever meet. Kevin Knight is a douche, okay, and business-wise, and I mean good business, which is booking talent that people will pay to see, booking talent that are loyal to you. When you burn a bridge, and you burn bridges with us who have only, and I'm going to speak for us because I know, and I think that they'll give me the right to, Stride, Maddox, and myself, you have three guys who deliver as far as filling seats, selling merchandise, putting on a good show, and taking care of all of his new students. We've done it since day one. We did it on the last show, up until the last show. And I told you guys this last time. What happens when we branch out and we become bigger than the brand, IWF, and we don't sit in those closed doors of the garage that he has there, that he calls a business, once you branch out, you then are cut off. And it's happened with many guys before us. And the way it stands now with this show, we were definitely on too many shows that he did not appreciate. And I think what happens, because we never got a phone call, we never got a text, we never got an email, we never got anything except we're not booked. And in replacement to us, I think he's probably taken some of his top worst guys that I've ever seen on any wrestling shows, and he's put them in place of us. And I think that is just to say what Kevin has told all of us there behind closed doors, which is, I don't need any one of you. This is a quote. I don't need any one of you. You all need me.
I feel
and with that being said, I think it just sums up how that show is going to turn out, and that's the reason why you see the people that are booked and you see where it's going to go from here. But to be honest, we shouldn't waste too much time talking about that because that's just going to be another one of his failures.
People are talking.
We definitely don't want to waste any more time. Unfortunately, we have time constraints, gentlemen, tonight, and we do want to have you on again. Maybe you could talk about your victory after this weekend coming up. Good luck to you, gentlemen, and again, please call in at another.
As a matter of fact, I mean, if you guys win or lose, if you guys want to call in next week on the next show, things will have we'll have the bugs all ironed out, and we'll be able to give you definitely twice as much time, if anything, so that we can discuss the show, how it went, what you guys think of the whole situation, and of course, if you guys won. I mean, if you didn't win, we're gonna have a problem with that. But
yeah, wait. First of all, win or lose. You mean after our victory, win or lose? What is that about? Come on.
I'm just trying to be politically correct. But yeah, that is what I meant. When you guys
we will definitely call in next week, and we expect you guys to have Renee on the line, ready to congratulate us on our victory.
Of course. At
Broadway, New Jersey, and then throughout April, as we tear apart Warriors of Wrestling, we're going to keep on going. It's not going to stop there.
What time is it, guys? This weekend. What time is it?
This weekend, Rahway Rec Center, April 14th, this Saturday night. I believe the show starts at 7:30, or at least get there by 7:30, so you can see us. And that's the Rahway Rec Center, 7:30. Be there. Buy tickets.
All right.
All your information you can get for the show is on japw.net for ticket information and all that stuff. Go there. Don't miss out on seeing Glitz and Glamour live because it's an experience.
Well, you answered
And Dave and Joe, next time I expect more time.
Definitely.
All right, Jared, Aaron, and of course Josh. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, please do call in next week, and we'll give you some more time.
Definitely, brother. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
All right, boys. Take care.
You too, guys. Have a good night, folks. That was Glitz and Glamour, Bright Lights, Jarrett Foster, Mr. I believe it's God's gift there, Aaron Stroud, and of course Showtime Josh Maddox. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'd like to thank Renee Paquette, who joined us from the Score. We spent so much time talking about Renee. We definitely have to have her on. And before we close out this show, folks, let me leave you with a nice little what I like to call a little soundbite.
Welcome aboard, Alex.
Yeah. Welcome aboard, Alex is definitely correct on that. Now this is what we're gonna. Oh wait, sorry. I think that was the wrong one.
Hi, this is Morgan Willard, Miss Oklahoma USA 2010. Make sure to check out Pure Gold every week at puregoldpg.com. Dave and Joe always bring the best in entertaining talk radio and great guests like me.
Folks, we thank you so much for joining us.
What's the name of your show?
Pure Gold.
Pure Gold.
Yes, sir.
I got 2 words for you. Pure Gold.
Good night, everyone. Make sure to tune in next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for JB. This is DG of Pure Gold reminding you to always keep it PG. Good night, everyone.